Hello and welcome back to Youth Code Jam's Online Bits and Bytes lessons. Today we're going to be making a game called Pocket Pet. It's inspired by the 90s digital game. That's name just went on my head, Tamagotchi or something like that. I know what they are. My parents said that they were a waste of money, so I didn't get to have one, but they lasted for a long time. So we're going to make a version of that. And give you the basics to work with, and then you can kind of grow the program as you want and interact with it as you would like to. So let's go ahead and start by opening a new tab or window in your browser. Chrome is normally the preferred browser for most of our editors. That's what the developers have decided to optimize for. Firefox is normally a good second. Microsoft Edge and Safari are questionable how well these editors will work with them. So if you have Chrome or Firefox, those are preferred. So go ahead and go to arcade.makecode.com. On the home page, click the New Project button. Go ahead and name it Pocket Pet. Why not? So over here we have our game interface that we'll be able to test our workout on, our drawers, and then our workspace. And the very first thing we're going to do is create a background. So go to the scene drawer and get a set background image 2 block. Click on the gray square. So we're going to use the editor to create our own background. It's going to be pretty simple. Half blue sky, half grass. I'm going to save some time by clicking the paintbrush, the paint bucket, choosing blue, and clicking the workspace. It's going to turn the whole thing blue. And then I'm going to choose a square, or the rectangle tool, click green, choose a halfway mark, that looks about halfway, and draw a green square. And then go back and get the paint bucket and fill in that square. So as you can probably see, I didn't quite get my edges. That's okay. I'm just going to click on the pencil and fill it in with that. It's a lot easier. If you need to, you can zoom in here. It's going to be a lot easier than me using the pencil for all of it. I can just come in and fill in a few spots. In fact, I wonder if I can, let's try the paint bucket here. Yeah. So once you've closed off that space, it will okay, I'm going to press done and re-enter this editor. There we go. Once you've closed off the edges here, it will let you use the paint bucket, but if you used it without the edges closed, the green is going to leak over into our sky and you're back to the starting point. Okay, so you can see here, half my sky is blue, half my screen is blue, half my screen is green. That's all I need for right now. If you want, you can come play with this later. I'm just going to click done. Next, we're going to create our pet sprite. So go to sprites, choose set my sprite to sprite of kind player, add that to our on start block. Click on my sprite and click new variable. We're going to name it pet. And then click on that square and go to gallery. You can make one if you want. For this exercise, we're going to just use a pre-made sprite. And you can choose any one you want. I'm going to go with the dog and press done. Okay, so we want our pet to always stay on the screen, so go to the sprites drawer and get the block that says set pet stay in, or we'll say set my sprite stay in screen. Right here. Set my sprite stay in screen. Use the drop down to change my sprite to pet. And yes, we want him to always be in the screen, so we're going to leave that on. Alright, so we're going to do, if you guys have played video games, you've probably seen like health bars or status bars before. We're going to add some of those to our game. So go down to the advanced drawer and scroll all the way down to where it says extensions and click extensions. And we're going to add the block that's called status bar. Let's make sure I can see it. You can see there's lots of extensions you can do. If you had a physical device, this is where you would get that. So status bar is down here. It has a little character fighting another monster. So go ahead and click status bar, and it's going to import all those blocks into our code for us. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is, did we miss this step? No. Okay, so we're going to go to our status drawer now, where our status bar is right here. So it's going to appear up here above advanced. And what I want you to get is this first block. We're going to get 2 of these, set status bar 2, create blah, 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 blah. So whatever those are, we're going to get 2 of those. Or you can add one and right click and duplicate. We're going to rename the first status bar to happy. So rename variable to happy. And the second one we're going to create a new variable called hunger. So give it a new name called hunger. So the first one we did rename variable. And the second one we did new variable. For both of these, they're going to be at a width of 25 and a height of 8. So that means that's how long and tall they're going to appear on our screen. And they're both going to be left at a kind health right there. So you can see these are our bars. It looks like they're appearing over our character. We're going to work on positioning those. Okay. So the next thing, we're going to work with the status bars for a few steps here. So go back to the status bar and get the set status bar label block. So sometimes you have to just scroll slowly to find them. So set status bar label. We need 2 of those. Again, I'm just going to drag one in and then duplicate it from here. I need 1 status bar for each of those variables we created. So one needs to say happy, the other needs to say hunger. And the label is going to obviously match the type, so happy, hunger. And now, again, so we can see them, they're kind of over our character. We don't want them there. We're going to move them up to the top. So to do that, go back to status bar and get set status bar padding offset. So set status bar padding offset right here under display. We're going to get 2 of those. Again, I'm just going to duplicate from here. Again, we need 1 for happy and 1 for hunger. The happy padding is going to be set to 2 and it's offset to -40. So it's going to appear on the left corner of our screen. And then the hunger is going to get a padding of 2 as well, but an offset of 40. So now when we appear, oh, I missed a step, that's why. Okay, so when I add these next 2 blocks in, will be good. So go back to status bar and get set status bar position 2. Right here. So set status bar position 2. We're going to need 2 of those. Place them above those padding blocks we just did. So these 2 position blocks go above the padding. Again, one needs to be happy, one needs to be hunger. And instead of left, they're going to appear at the top. Alright, and now they should appear correctly. So I know I kind of mixed those up. If you need to pause the video here so you can reference what I've done and go back and get the blocks and put them in the right order, that's fine. But you should end up with happy in the left corner of the screen and hunger in the right corner of our video game. Okay, so now we're going to move the pet around the screen. I'm going to do that using a forever loop. So any code that appears inside the forever loop will execute until we manually end the game. And then go to the controller drawer and get a move my sprite with buttons. Change my sprite to pet and click on that plus sign to add speed or the velocities. Leaving them at 100 is fine. If you want to play with them later, you can. Go back to the controller drawer and get 2 on a button press blocks. Change one of those A's to a B. I'm going to do the one that gets grayed out. for the A block, go to the status bar drawer and get change status bar by. Okay, so we have change status bar value by. We're going to grab one of those and place it inside on A. A is going to deal with how happy our pet is or their mood. So we're going to change the name to happy and change the value by 2. And then I'm going to save some time and duplicate that block and place it inside the on B press block, but instead of happy, this one's going to deal with hunger. So we're going to change happy to hunger and change it by 5. Change 2 to 5. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to get into some of the more technical aspects of the game, as opposed to all of that was for really the character and the health bars. Now we're going to go into how the game operates. So go to the game drawer and get a on game update every 500 milliseconds. We're going to leave that with its default value. Then head over to logic and get this if true then else statement. So we're going to check a couple conditions, and this will tell us if we have won, or it will monitor our pet's mood and hunger levels. Sorry, not win or lose. So we're going to do a compound conditional statement. So that means we have to check 2 conditions, and they both need to be true in this case in order for the code inside this first if to execute. So go to logic and grab an AND block and place it over true. Then you're going to get 2 of these 0 equals 0 blocks. And I'm just going to place them off to the side for now. Place one on the left of AND and one on the right. Okay, next go to My Sprite, or go to the sprites drawer, and we're going to get this block right here that just simply says My Sprite X, and place that over that first 0. Change My Sprite to Pet, and use the drop down to change X to VX, so that's velocity of X. So what that block does is however fast our pet is moving or doing something, it's going to grab that value and compare it to, right now we have it set to 0. Okay, and we're going to copy that block. So I'm going to duplicate that block, place it over in our second 0 equals 0 block. So again, right now we're comparing X to 0. On this one, we're going to compare Y to 0. So if Y is 0, so if we're not moving, we're going to move happy. We're going to decrease our happy level. So I'm going to come back up here and just duplicate this change block for happy and place it inside of my if statement. And then just change that -2 to a 1. So the reason I duplicate is to save time sorting through the drawers and resetting everything. It's much easier just to copy a block that's similar enough to what I need and change what I need from there instead of going back into the drawers and dragging things around. Okay, so we're going to, in the else condition, so if we're actually moving around, if we're not standing still, then we're going to have other activities going on. So I'm going to duplicate that happy block again and place it under the else. And this time, because we're moving, happy is going to increase by 2. So we're going to leave that as is, but hunger is going to decrease. So we're going to go up here to the on B, duplicate that hunger block, place it underneath that second happy under else, and change 5 to -1. Okay, so now if we start playing our game, you can see my happy is decreasing and my hunger is decreasing. But if I press A, I can increase happy, and if I press B, I can increase hunger. So if you can do both at the same time, awesome. So that's basically one way to run the game. You could include other variables or status bars to check. You could try feeding it instead, which is, I guess, essentially what we do when we press B. You can see happy goes down much faster than hunger does. because our sprite wants to be moving, and then it will be happy. But that, of course, movement makes us hungry. So back and forth, you can kind of play with that and see how that works. I think that's a good starting point for this kind of game. If our status bars get all the way to the end, we should get like a game lose message or something. Let's test it out. In the meantime, if you want to check out more activities or join us for our live sessions, you can go to usecodejam.org. Under Find Programs, go to Bits and Bytes. And you can click here. This will take you to the registration site. It's done through our sponsor, Palo Alto College. And then underneath here we have videos from the current month, so lessons we've done in the current month, and then links to the different playlists we have. So we have a lot of Scratch activities. We have a handful of Puzzle Club and digital literacy activities. We did kind of pull back on videos for these because they make more sense in a group setting. We have general block coding, so all of our MakeCode activities, beta blocks, any other block coding activities we've done, and then just a few text-based ones. So if you're interested in coming to the lessons, there's more information here on how to sign up and things. And then let's check. Oh, we missed it. So I think it goes all the way down and restarts, but I'm not sure. But that's it for today, and I hope to see you at a live session soon.